Terrence Phillips wiped sweat from his brow as he reviewed construction plans at his desk. The office buzzed with activity around him, but his focus remained unwavering on the blueprints before him. His calloused hands, testament to years of hands-on work, traced the lines. "Mr. Phillips?" His assistant Sarah knocked on the doorframe. "Your wife called. She said she'll be working late again tonight." Terrence's jaw tightened imperceptibly. Third time this week. He maintained his composure, though a familiar knot formed in his stomach. Did she say when she'd be home? No specific time. Just late. Sarah hesitated, concern flickering across her features. "Would you like me to call her back?" "No need." Terrence returned to his blueprints, his voice steady despite the tension building in his shoulders. "Make sure the concrete delivery for the Madison project is confirmed for tomorrow morning." After Sarah left, Terrence leaned back in his chair, memories of recent months flooding his mind. Beverly's increasingly frequent work events had started 6 months ago. At first, he'd supported her renewed passion for interior design. Her career had taken a back seat when they had children. But something felt off. His phone buzzed with a text from his daughter Emma. "Dad, can you pick us up from soccer practice?" "Mom's not answering." Terrence typed back immediately. "On my way, princess." He grabbed his jacket, nodding to his team as he headed out. The drive to the school gave him time to think, to piece together the subtle changes in Beverly's behavior. At the soccer field, Emma and her younger brother Michael waited on the bleachers. Their faces lit up at the sight of their father's truck. "Dad!" Michael sprinted over, soccer cleats in hand. "I scored 2 goals today." Terrence ruffled his son's hair, pride momentarily displacing his concerns. "That's my boy. How about we grab some pizza to celebrate?" Emma climbed into the back seat, her usual enthusiasm dampened. "Is Mom working late again?" "She's busy with an important project," Terrence explained, the lie tasting bitter on his tongue. He caught Emma's skeptical look in the rearview mirror. At 13, she was becoming too perceptive. At Mario's Pizzeria, their regular spot, Terrence watched his children devour their slices while picking at his own. The familiar scent of garlic and tomato sauce filled the air, but he couldn't shake the memory of Beverly's changed behavior. The new clothes, the expensive perfume, the mysterious phone calls she took in another room. "Dad!" Emma's voice pulled him from his thoughts. "I saw Mom yesterday at the mall." Terrence's hand stilled on his glass. "Oh." "She was with some man. They were having coffee at that fancy place, the one with the French name." Michael, oblivious to the tension, reached for another slice. "Can we get ice cream after?" "In a minute, buddy." Terrence kept his voice calm, though his pulse quickened. "Emma, did Mom see you?" Emma shook her head, twisting her napkin. "No, I was with Sarah from math class." The man kept touching Mom's hand, and she was laughing a lot. Terrence's fingers tightened around his fork, but his face remained neutral. "Did you recognize him?" "No, but he wore an expensive suit, like the ones in those magazines Mom likes." Later that night, after putting the kids to bed, Terrence sat in his home office, reviewing bank statements. Beverly's recent purchases stood out: boutique clothing stores, high-end restaurants, a hotel charge in the next town over. Each transaction felt like another crack in their marriage's foundation. The front door opened at 11:43 p.m. Terrence heard Beverly's heels clicking on the floor, accompanied by the faint scent of unfamiliar cologne. He remained in his office, listening as she moved through their home. "You're still up?" Beverly appeared in the doorway, her designer outfit perfectly pressed despite the late hour. "Someone had to be here for the kids." Terrence's voice carried no accusation, just stated fact. Emma needed help with her science project. Beverly's smile faltered slightly. "I'm sorry, work has been crazy." "This new client, Louis Craig?" Terrence interrupted, watching her face carefully. "That's his name, right? The real estate developer?" Color drained from Beverly's face, but she recovered quickly. "Yes, he's a very important client." "How did you?" "Emma saw you at Café Moderne yesterday." Terrence stood, his 6'2" frame towering over Beverly's petite stature. "Funny, I thought your meeting was supposed to be at the office. It was more convenient to meet there." "Terrence, you're making something out of nothing." Beverly's voice took on a defensive edge. I'm trying to rebuild my career. Something you claim to support? I support my wife. I'm not sure that's who you are anymore. Beverly's laugh held a note of derision. Oh, please. Just because I'm finally doing something for myself instead of playing the dutiful housewife. Don't. Terrence's single word cut through her protest like a blade. Don't insult my intelligence, Beverly. And more importantly, don't insult our children. He turned away, dismissing her, and Beverly stormed out of the office. As her footsteps faded upstairs, Terrence pulled out his phone and typed a message to Trina Hawkins, their neighbor. You were right. Need to talk. The next morning, Terrence maintained his routine. He made breakfast for the kids, packed their lunches, and drove them to school. Beverly remained upstairs, claiming a headache. Only after dropping off the children did he allow his mask to slip, revealing the cold calculation beneath. At his office, he called in Sarah. I need you to clear my schedule for lunch. And get me everything you can find on Louise Craig. Sarah nodded, understanding in her eyes. She'd worked for Terrence long enough to recognize the shift in his demeanor. Already did some digging, sir. You'll want to see this. She placed a folder on his desk containing printouts of Louise Craig's business dealings, social media presence, and press coverage. Terrence spent the next hour memorizing details about the man who dared to invade his life. At noon, he met Trina at a small diner far from their neighborhood. She slid into the booth, her usual warmth replaced by concern. I've been watching them, Trina said without preamble. Tuesday afternoons, Thursday evenings, and random weekend work events. Always at Café Moderne or the Grand Hotel downtown. Terrence absorbed the information silently, his expression unchanged. How long have you known? Suspected for 2 months. Confirmed it last week when I saw them. Intimate. In his car. Trina reached across the table, squeezing his hand. I needed proof before telling you. My parents? Trina hesitated. They've had dinner with Beverly and Louise twice. At La Maison, Terrence withdrew his hand, his eyes hardening. Both times Beverly told me they were having dinner with her sister. Terrence. Trina leaned forward. What are you going to do? A small, cold smile played at the corners of his mouth. Nothing yet, but I need a favor. Keep watching. Document everything. And don't tell anyone we've talked. What about the kids? They stay with me. His tone left no room for discussion. Everything else can burn. Over the next week, Terrence gathered evidence. Bank statements, photos Trina provided, timestamps of Beverly's absences. He hired a private investigator recommended by his lawyer friend Art Murphy. Most importantly, he began moving money into separate accounts, careful to maintain normal spending patterns to avoid suspicion. Beverly grew more careless, emboldened by what she mistook for her husband's ignorance. She stayed out later, offered thinner excuses, and spent more time on her phone, smiling at messages she quickly deleted. Then came the vacation announcement. I think we need family time, Beverly declared over dinner one evening. Your parents agreed to join us at the lake house next month. Terrence noted how she watched him, gauging his reaction. The lake house? Mom, Dad says it'll be good for all of us to reconnect. Emma pushed her food around her plate. Will Mr. Craig be there too? The silence that followed was deafening. Beverly's fork clattered against her plate. What? I heard you on the phone, Emma continued, her young voice steady. You told him the lake house has plenty of room. Michael looked between his parents, confused. Who's Mr. Craig? Nobody, Beverly snapped, then softened her tone. Just a client, sweetie. Terrence watched his wife squirm, savoring her discomfort. Beverly, why don't you tell them who Mr. Craig really is? This isn't the time. It's exactly the time. Terrence's voice remained calm, but his eyes blazed. Tell them how their grandparents have been covering for you. Tell them about the hotel rooms, the expensive gifts, the lies. Beverly stood abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. Children, go to your rooms. They stay. Terrence's command froze everyone in place. They deserve to know who their mother really is. How dare you? Beverly's composure cracked. You're just jealous because I'm finally successful, finally happy. Luis appreciates me, supports my dreams. What have you ever done except hold me back with your middle-class mentality and your construction worker lifestyle? Emma burst into tears and ran upstairs, Michael following close behind. The sound of their doors slamming echoed through the house. Terrence rose slowly, his movements deliberate. Pack a bag. Get out. This is my house too. Not anymore. He stepped closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. You have 30 minutes. Then I call your precious Luis and tell him everything I know about his creative accounting practices with client funds. Beverly's face paled. You're bluffing. Try me. Terrence pulled out his phone, showing her screenshots of damning financial records. 30 minutes. Tick-tock. As Beverly rushed upstairs to pack, Terrence sent 2 text messages. The first to his lawyer. It's time. The second to his parents. Hope the lake house was worth it. Don't call again. He listened to Beverly's frantic movements above, already planning his next moves. She had chosen her path, and now he would show her exactly what happened to those who betrayed Terrence Phillips. The game was just beginning, and he intended to win, completely and ruthlessly. Upstairs, he could hear Emma crying. That sound, more than anything, cemented his resolve. Beverly hadn't just betrayed him. She betrayed their children. For that, there would be no forgiveness, no mercy, no second chances. The clock ticked down Beverly's remaining minutes in their home, each second bringing Terrence closer to unleashing the calculated destruction he'd planned. Let her run to Luis, to his parents, to whoever she thought would protect her. He would dismantle their lives piece by piece, day by day, until nothing remained but regret. As Beverly dragged her suitcase down the stairs, mascara streaking her cheeks, Terrence stood by the door, impassive. She paused, perhaps hoping for a last-minute reprieve, but found only cold determination in her husband's eyes. The children, she began, are no longer your concern. Terrence opened the door. Goodbye, Beverly. The door closed behind her with finality, leaving Terrence alone in the sudden silence. He took a deep breath, then headed upstairs to comfort his children. Tomorrow, the real work would begin. Tonight, he needed to be their father. But as he held his crying children, Terrence's mind was already racing with plans. Beverly, Luis, his parents, they would all learn the cost of betrayal. He would take everything from them, piece by piece, until they understood exactly what they had lost. The facade had crumbled, revealing the steel beneath. Terrence Phillips, the quiet construction manager, was gone. In his place stood a man prepared to wage war on all who had wronged him, no matter the cost. Chapter 2. Unraveling Lies. Terrence pulled Beverly's closet door open, removing her remaining clothes. Each item represented another lie. Designer dresses she claimed were on sale, silk blouses borrowed from colleagues, shoes with price tags that could feed a family for a month. As he worked, a receipt fluttered from a jacket pocket. The Grand Hotel, Suite 714. 3 separate dates, all matching her late work nights. His phone buzzed. Trina's message read, "Coffee? Found something you need to see." 20 minutes later, they sat in Trina's kitchen, far from prying eyes. She slid her tablet across the table, open to a social media post. Luis Craig's business partner tagged them at last week's charity gala. The photo showed Beverly laughing, champagne in hand, while Luis's arm wrapped possessively around her waist. Terrence's parents stood beside them, glasses raised in celebration. There's more. Trina swiped through several photos. Beverly and Luis dancing, sharing private jokes, his hand resting inappropriately low on her back. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. Terrence's expression remained neutral, but his fingers pressed white against his coffee mug. My parents? Herman and Ethel have been covering for them for months. They tell neighbors Beverly's finding herself and you're being unsupportive. Trina's disgust was evident. I've saved everything. Good. Terrence pulled out his phone, dialing a number. Ms. Lutz? Terrence Phillips. I need your services. Marissa Lutz arrived at his office the next day, her professional demeanor matching her reputation. Mr. Phillips, I understand discretion is paramount. Complete discretion. Terrence handed her a file. I need everything on Luis Craig, Beverly Phillips, and their activities. Bank records, phone logs, hotel stays. My parents too, Herman and Ethel Clark. Surveillance? 24/7. I want to know everywhere they go, everyone they meet. He wrote a check, sliding it across his desk. This is your retainer. Results matter more than cost. Marissa studied the amount, nodding. I'll need a week to establish patterns. Preliminary report in 3 days. While Marissa worked, Terrence maintained appearances. He took the children to school, attended parent-teacher conferences alone. Mrs. Phillips is traveling for work, and continued managing his construction projects. But beneath the surface, rage simmered. Emma caught him in his office late one night, reviewing surveillance photos. Dad, are you going to hurt Mom? Terrence quickly closed the laptop. No, Princess. I'm going to protect us. She calls sometimes when you're not home. Emma hugged herself. Says she misses us but needs time to grow. Michael cries after. Terrence pulled his daughter close. Your mother made her choice. But I promise you, no one will ever hurt you or your brother again. 3 days later, Marissa's preliminary report arrived. Louise Craig's history unveiled like a rap sheet. 2 restraining orders from ex-girlfriends, multiple fraud allegations settled out of court, a pattern of seducing wealthy women for financial gain. He's careful, Marissa explained, spreading photos across Terrence's desk, uses business accounts to hide personal expenses. The restraining orders were sealed, but I have contacts. My parents? Meeting Beverly and Louise weekly at La Maison. Your father withdrew $50,000 from his retirement account last month. Transferred to Beverly's private account same day. Terrence's jaw clenched. The betrayal cut deeper with each revelation. Keep digging. I want leverage on all of them. That evening, he confronted his parents at their home. Herman answered the door, false cheer failing to mask his nervousness. Son, what brings you? Cut the act. Terrence pushed past him into the living room, where Ethel sat pretending to read. $50,000? That's what my marriage was worth to you. Now, Terrence, Herman raised his hands placatingly. Beverly needed help establishing herself. Louise has wonderful investment opportunities. Louise Craig is a con man who preys on desperate women. But you knew that, didn't you? Ethel finally spoke, her voice sharp. Beverly deserves better than being stuck with a construction worker. Louise can give her the life she wants. The life she wants? Terrence laughed coldly. Let me show you what kind of life Louise Craig offers. He dropped the restraining order documents on their coffee table. Photos spilled out. Louise with other women, bank statements showing fraudulent transfers, police reports. Your wonderful Louise has quite a history. Wonder how his investors would react. Terrence watched their faces pale. Or maybe I should call those ex-girlfriends. I'm sure they'd love to warn Beverly. You wouldn't, Ethel whispered. Try me. Terrence headed for the door, pausing. By the way, I've frozen all family accounts. Good luck funding their investment opportunities now. Back home, Terrence found Joydale, a parent from his children's school, dropping off Emma from soccer practice. Something in his expression made her linger. Rough day, she asked softly. Just family drama. He managed a polite smile. Thanks for bringing Emma home. Anytime. Listen, Joy hesitated. I went through something similar last year. If you ever need to talk. Terrence nodded, filing away the offer. He couldn't afford distractions, not yet. First, he had scores to settle. The next week brought more revelations. Marissa's surveillance caught Beverly and Louise in compromising positions, documented their meetings with potential investors, and tracked their movements. Each piece of evidence became another weapon in Terrence's arsenal. He moved systematically. First, anonymous tips to Louise's investors about questionable practices. Then, accidental encounters between Beverly and Louise's previous victims. Finally, leaked photos to business associates, raising questions about professional ethics. The pressure mounted. Louise's business partners demanded audits. Beverly's design clients canceled contracts. Herman and Ethel faced scrutiny from their country club friends over their role in the scandal. Throughout it all, Terrence remained outwardly calm, focusing on his children and business. But inside, satisfaction grew as he watched his enemies' lives unravel thread by thread. Chapter 3. Building the web. Marissa's latest report landed on Terrence's desk early Monday morning. Hidden cameras are in place, she confirmed. Motion activated, high resolution. Nothing happens in that house without us knowing. Terrence reviewed the camera locations: living room, kitchen, entryways. All public spaces, all legal. Upload feed directly to secure server. I want real-time monitoring. Already done. Marissa hesitated. There's more. Beverly's been meeting with divorce lawyers. 3 consultations last month alone. Names: Harrison and Mitchell. Specialists in high-conflict cases. She slid over a document. She's building a case for full custody, claiming emotional abuse and financial control. Terrence absorbed this, his expression hardening. Forward everything to Art Murphy. He'll handle the legal response. Art arrived that afternoon, grim-faced but determined. She's playing hardball, Terry. Claims you're unstable, manipulative. Using the house cameras against you. Those cameras protect my children from her chaos. Terrence's voice carried absolute conviction. What's our counter? I've documented every abandoned pickup, missed event, and late-night absence. Plus, Art grinned wolfishly. Luis's ex-girlfriends agreed to testify about his pattern of manipulation. Beverly's claims will look like textbook projection. They spent hours strategizing, building an impenetrable defense while laying groundwork for devastating counterattacks. Art's experience in high-conflict divorces proved invaluable. Remember, Art warned, she'll try using the kids as leverage. We need to be spotless on custody issues. Already handled. Terrence pulled up schedules showing his children's activities, appointments, and academic progress. I've been sole caregiver since she left. Teachers, coaches, and neighbors will confirm. Meanwhile, Beverly grew increasingly erratic. Hidden cameras caught her attempting midnight visits, demanding entry while clearly intoxicated. Each incident strengthened Terrence's position while weakening her custody claims. Luis proved equally predictable. Facing mounting business pressures, he began missing meetings with Beverly, screening her calls. Camera footage caught their arguments outside the house, his mask of charm cracking under stress. Your husband's ruining me, Luis shouted during one particularly heated exchange. Fix this or we're done. Beverly's response was lost as she stormed off, but her tears were visible even on night vision footage. Terrence watched the recording multiple times, savoring her distress. Herman and Ethel attempted reconciliation. Arriving unannounced one Sunday afternoon, Terrence let them wait on the porch for 30 minutes before opening the door. We made a mistake, Herman began, his confidence shaken. If we'd known about Luis's history. You knew enough. Terrence's voice cut like ice. You chose Beverly over your own son. Over your grandchildren. Please, Ethel begged, let us explain. Explain what? How you funded their affair. Lied to my children? Betrayed your family? He stepped back inside. Actions have consequences. Remember that while watching your retirement fund disappear. The door closed on their protests. Through the security feed, Terrence watched them linger, arguing quietly before finally leaving. Their desperation brought no satisfaction. They were merely collateral damage in his larger campaign. Joydale became an unexpected ally during this period. Her own experience with betrayal gave her unique insight, and her presence helped maintain normalcy for the children. They need stability now more than ever, she advised during a parent-teacher conference. Structure, routine, constant reassurance. Terrence nodded, noting how she'd taken extra interest in Michael's adjustment. They're coping better than expected. Though Emma still has questions I can't answer. Can't? Or won't? Joy's directness surprised them both. Some truths do more harm than good. He met her gaze steadily. They need to know I'll protect them, not how thoroughly I'll destroy anyone who threatens that protection. Joy absorbed this, her expression thoughtful. Just remember they'll need their father whole when this ends. Don't lose yourself to revenge. Revenge implies emotion, Terrence corrected. This is justice. The web tightened gradually. Anonymous tips sparked regulatory investigations into Luis's business practices. Beverly's design clients received evidence of overcharging and kickbacks. Herman and Ethel's financial advisor discovered irregularities requiring immediate attention. Pressure mounted from all sides. Louis's investors demanded emergency meetings. Beverly's professional reputation crumbled. Herman and Ethel faced audit notices. Each crisis Terrence orchestrated pushed them closer to breaking. Through it all, he maintained meticulous documentation. Every interaction, every violation, every attempt at contact, all recorded, time-stamped, and added to Art's arsenal. The trap was nearly complete. The final piece fell into place when Marissa caught Beverly attempting to break in while the children slept. Security footage showed her clearly intoxicated, demanding to see her babies while Louis waited in his car. Perfect, Terrence told Art, reviewing the footage. Follow the restraining order. Use everything. Art's eyes widened at the comprehensive evidence package. This will destroy her custody claims completely. She won't recover. That's the point. Terrence's smile held no warmth. She chose her path. Now she'll walk it alone. As Act I drew to a close, Terrence surveyed his progress with cold satisfaction. Beverly's life lay in ruins, Louis faced financial collapse, and his parents learned the cost of betrayal. The foundation was laid for total victory. Yet this was merely the beginning. Phase 1 had stripped away their defenses, exposed their vulnerabilities. Act 2 would exploit those weaknesses until nothing remained of the lives they built on lies and betrayal. Terrence Phillips, the quiet construction manager, had revealed his true nature. Those who crossed him would learn. He didn't seek revenge, he delivered consequences. And consequences, unlike mercy, had no expiration date. Chapter 4. The Tides Turn. Beverly's attempt to secure a restraining order backfired spectacularly in courtroom 307. Art Murphy stood before Judge Martinez, his presentation devastating in its precision. Your Honor, we submit exhibits A through G, documenting Mrs. Phillips' pattern of abandonment and manipulation. Art gestured to the screen where Beverly's nighttime break-in attempt played silently. This incident occurred at 2:17 a.m., while her children slept inside. Note her companion, Mr. Louis Craig, waiting in his vehicle. Beverly shifted uncomfortably beside her lawyer, her designer outfit failing to mask her agitation. Judge Martinez leaned forward, eyes narrowing at the footage. Mrs. Phillips appears intoxicated, the judge observed. Beverly's lawyer jumped up. Your Honor, my client was distraught. Mr. Phillips had cut off all contact. After she abandoned her family for her paramour, Art interrupted smoothly. We have documented 47 instances of Mrs. Phillips choosing Mr. Craig over her parental responsibilities. Each incident time-stamped, witnessed, and verified. The evidence mounted: missed parent-teacher conferences, abandoned pickup duties, ignored medical appointments. Art presented each failure, building an irrefutable picture of parental neglect. Furthermore, Art continued, producing another document. Mrs. Phillips conspired with Mr. Craig to alienate Mr. Phillips from his own parents, manipulating them into financing their affair through fraudulent investment schemes. Beverly's face reddened. That's not true. Louis has legitimate business. Silence, Judge Martinez commanded. She studied the financial records before her. These transactions are troubling, Mrs. Phillips. Combined with the documented pattern of behavior, she straightened, decision clear in her expression. The petition for a restraining order is denied. Moreover, I'm issuing a temporary order barring Mrs. Phillips from unsupervised contact with her children pending a full custody hearing. Beverly crumpled in her seat while her lawyer whispered urgently in her ear. Across the aisle, Terrence maintained his composure, though satisfaction burned in his chest. The story spread quickly through their social circle. Trina ensured key details reached the right ears. Beverly's public humiliation, Louis's involvement, the late-night drama. Former friends crossed the street to avoid Beverly. Party invitations dried up. The couple who had once dominated local social scenes became pariahs. Louis reacted predictably to the pressure. Security cameras caught him berating Beverly outside her apartment. Fix this, he shouted, spittle flying. Your husband's destroying my reputation. I've lost 3 major investors this week. I'm trying. Beverly's mascara streaked her cheeks. If you just help with the legal fees. More money? Louise grabbed her arm. I've already spent a fortune on your shopping sprees and hotel bills. You promised your parents would invest. They can't. Terrence froze everything, and now they're being audited. Beverly pulled away, rubbing her arm. Maybe if we talk to him, explained. Explain what? Louise sneered. How you spread your legs while spending his money. Face it, Beverly. You're toxic now. Nobody wants to associate with a cheating gold digger. He stormed off, leaving Beverly sobbing on the sidewalk. Terrence watched the footage later, noting how Louise's charm had finally cracked. The man's true nature emerged under pressure, just as planned. Joy brought dinner that evening, arriving as Terrence reviewed custody documents. The kids mentioned the court hearing, she said, unpacking containers of homemade pasta. Emma's worried. She shouldn't be. Terrence closed his laptop. Everything's proceeding exactly as intended. That's what concerns me. Joy met his gaze directly. Your children need their father, not an avenging angel. They need someone strong enough to protect them. Terrence's tone softened slightly. Beverly forfeited her rights when she chose Louise over her family. Actions have consequences. And what about your actions? Joy challenged. Where do consequences end and cruelty begin? Before Terrence could respond, his phone buzzed. Marissa's text read, check email. Found something big on Louise. The attachments revealed Louise's desperate attempts to salvage his crumbling empire. Bank transfers bounced between accounts, each movement more frantic than the last. Client funds disappeared into personal accounts, then vanished in gambling sites and luxury purchases. He's spiraling. Art confirmed over the phone. 3 clients filed complaints with the Securities Commission. It's only a matter of time before criminal charges. Anonymous tip to his remaining investors? Already drafted. Once this hits, he's finished. Art paused. Beverly, too, by association. She's co-signed several recent loans. Terrence ended the call, satisfaction coursing through him. The pieces aligned perfectly, dominoes falling in sequence. Louise's desperation would drive him to greater mistakes, each one tightening the noose. His parents attempted reconciliation again, this time through intermediaries. Church friends called, business associates emailed, all carrying the same message. Herman and Ethel regretted their choices, missed their grandchildren, wanted to make amends. Terrence responded by sending them copies of their own bank statements. Each withdrawal that had funded Beverly's affair highlighted in red, annotated with dates of her hotel stays with Louise. Their shame became public knowledge at their country club, their church, their social circles. Beverly made one final attempt at manipulation, cornering Emma after school. Baby, please, she begged, grabbing Emma's arm. Tell Daddy I've changed. I'll do anything. Remove your hand. Terrence's voice cut through the parking lot. He approached slowly, purpose in each step. Now. Beverly released Emma, who ran to her father's side. You can't keep them from me forever. I'm their mother. No, Terrence corrected, his voice carrying to the gathering crowd of parents. A mother puts her children first. A mother doesn't abandon them for a con man. A mother doesn't break into their home drunk at 2 a.m. You bastard, Beverly hissed. You've turned everyone against me. You did that yourself. Terrence guided Emma toward their car. I merely ensured people saw the real you. Later that night, Terrence received another urgent text from Marissa. Louise had been spotted at the Red Door, a notorious gambling establishment. Security footage showed him arguing with owners known for their violent collection methods. Want me to notify his investors? Marissa asked. Not yet. Terrence smiled in the darkness of his office. Let him dig deeper. The harder he falls, the more complete Beverly's ruin. The next morning brought news of Louise's public meltdown. Drunk and desperate, he'd confronted Terrence outside his construction office. You think you're so clever, Louise slurred, swaying slightly. Big man, destroying lives from the shadows. Terrence continued walking to his truck, ignoring the spectacle. Louise grabbed his arm. Bad mistake. In one fluid motion, Terrence twisted, using Louise's momentum to slam him against the vehicle. Touch me again, he whispered, pressing Louise's face against cold metal, and I'll add assault charges to your growing list of problems. You're crazy, Luis gasped, struggling ineffectively. Beverly was right about you. Beverly. Terrence increased pressure slightly. How is she? Still useful? Or has she outlived her purpose like your previous targets? Luis went still. What do you know about? Everything. Terrence released him abruptly, stepping back as Luis stumbled. I know about Jennifer Martinez, Sarah Chun, the restraining orders, the investment scams. Should I continue? Color drained from Luis's face. Around them, phones recorded the confrontation, ensuring his humiliation would spread rapidly online. Tell Beverly I said hello. Terrence called as Luis fled. I'm sure she'll love seeing this video. The incident marked a turning point. Luis's public meltdown, combined with mounting evidence of financial misconduct, triggered an avalanche of consequences. Investors filed lawsuits. Regulators launched investigations. Former victims came forward with new allegations. Through it all, Terrence maintained his calculated assault. Each revelation was timed perfectly, each piece of evidence released for maximum impact. He watched through surveillance feeds as Beverly's world imploded. Luis stopped answering her calls, creditors froze her accounts, friends blocked her number. Joy observed these developments with growing concern. You're enjoying this, she noted one evening as they watched the children play. Justice brings satisfaction. Terrence's eyes never left his children. They hurt my family. Now they learn the price. And when will it be enough? Joy pressed. When does justice become vengeance? Terrence finally turned to her. When they've lost everything. Just like they tried to take everything from me. The wheels of justice ground forward inexorably. Art filed motion after motion, each one stripping away Beverly's remaining defenses. Her attempts at countermoves grew increasingly desperate. She's claiming emotional abuse, Art reported, amused. Says you're conducting a systematic campaign to destroy her life. Isn't that exactly what you're doing? Joy asked quietly. Terrence smiled, a cold expression that never reached his eyes. No, I'm simply ensuring she faces the consequences of her choices. The destruction? That's all her own work. As Act Two's climax approached, the pressure mounted on all fronts. Luis faced criminal charges, Beverly teetered on bankruptcy, and social isolation took its toll on both. Even Herman and Ethel felt the strain, their comfortable retirement threatened by their poor choices. Terrence watched it all through his network of surveillance and informants, directing each new blow. The man who had once been known for his quiet demeanor now orchestrated a symphony of destruction, each movement calculated for maximum impact. His children thrived under his protection, their initial trauma healing as stability returned to their lives. Joy's presence helped, her understanding of betrayal allowing her to guide them through difficult moments. But Terrence never relaxed his vigilance. Beverly's desperation made her dangerous, and Luis's downward spiral suggested violence remained possible. He maintained his security measures, updated his legal strategies, and prepared for the final confrontation. The stage was set for the next phase of Terrence's plan, each piece moving precisely into position. Chapter 5. Breaking Points. Luis Craig stared at his reflection in the grimy bathroom mirror of his new apartment. Designer suits replaced by discount store clothes, luxury car downgraded to a used sedan, premium whiskey swapped for cheap bourbon. His life had crumbled piece by piece, each loss traced directly to Terrence Phillips. His phone buzzed, another creditor. He ignored it, just like he ignored Beverly's increasingly frantic messages. Opening his laptop revealed more bad news. 3 more investors had withdrawn, citing concerns about ethical practices. A knock at the door made him jump. Through the peephole, he saw 2 men in dark suits. Federal agents, most likely, following up on those anonymous tips about client fund irregularities. Luis grabbed his keys and phone, slipping out the back exit. In his car, he called the one person who might still help. Herman? It's Luis. We need to talk. Herman Clark's voice shook slightly. I can't. Terrence. Forget Terrence. You vouched for me to those investors. If I go down, are you threatening me? Steele entered Herman's tone. Just stating facts. Meet me at Riley's bar in an hour. Beverly paced her studio apartment, ignoring calls from collection agencies. Her design business had collapsed after photos of her affair circulated among clients. Former friends crossed the street to avoid her. Even her own sister had blocked her number. She tried Luis again. Straight to voicemail. "Luis, please," she begged. "I need money for rent. These people are threatening to sue." A text notification interrupted her message. Photos from Emma's school play. Terrence had blocked her number, but someone, probably that witch Joy, made sure she saw what she was missing. Emma in costume. Michael beaming with pride at his sister. Joy's arm around both children. Terrence smiling at them all. Beverly hurled her phone across the room. At the Clark residence, Ethel sorted through past due notices. Their comfortable retirement had vanished into Luis's schemes and Beverly's needs. Now they faced audit questions about irregular withdrawals and undocumented loans. "Herman, what have we done?" she whispered. Her husband didn't answer, already heading to his meeting with Luis. His hands shook as he grabbed his keys. Across town, Trina updated Terrence on neighborhood reactions to Beverly's latest drama. She tried attending the PDA meeting, Trina reported. Susan Thompson asked her to leave, said they don't welcome homewreckers who abandon their children. Beverly's response? Terrence's voice remained neutral. Screamed about conspiracies and restraining orders. Called you a monster. Principal Williams had to escort her out. Terrence nodded, adding this incident to his documentation. Each outburst strengthened his position while weakening Beverly's custody claims. Joy watched him from across his office. The children heard about it. Emma's upset. They need to understand their mother's true nature. They need their father present, not consumed by revenge. Terrence met her gaze. This isn't revenge. It's protection. At Riley's bar, Luis nursed his fourth bourbon when Herman arrived. The older man looked haggard, his country club polish faded. "Make it quick," Herman muttered, declining a drink. "Ethel doesn't know I'm here. Your son's destroying me." Luis leaned forward. "Those investment documents you signed? They implicate you too." Herman's face paled. "You promised those deals were legitimate." "They were. Are. But your signature's still on them." Luis smiled thinly. "Help me fix this, or we all go down together." "Fix what?" "Terrence has everything documented. The affairs, the money, the lies. Then we create new documentation. Your word against his. A father's testimony holds weight." "No." Herman stood abruptly. "I've lost enough supporting your schemes. My son, my grandchildren, your choice." Luis shrugged. "I'm sure the SEC will understand how you accidentally authorized those transfers." Herman fled, leaving Luis to his bourbon and bitterness. Outside, he called Terrence. "Son, we need to talk." "Luis is planning something." Terrence listened silently to his father's confession, recording everything. Another piece clicked into place. The next morning, Luis discovered his remaining accounts frozen. Anonymous tips had triggered multiple investigations. Former clients filed complaints, backed by evidence they'd mysteriously received. He stormed into Beverly's apartment, past due notices scattered across her floor. "What did you tell them?" he demanded. Beverly backed away. "Nothing. I haven't." "Someone's talking. Investors pulling out, accounts frozen, feds asking questions." He advanced on her. "If I find out you've been sharing details with Terrence, I would never." Beverly's voice rose hysterically. "He won't even let me see my children. I hate him." "Then explain how he knows everything. Business deals, bank accounts, private conversations." Luis grabbed her arms. "What did you do?" "Let go of me." Beverly struggled. "You're hurting me." "Hurting you?" Luis laughed bitterly. "I'm ruined because of you. My reputation, my business, everything gone." He released her roughly, sending her stumbling into a table. "You're as worthless as your husband claimed." Beverly watched him storm out, tears streaming down her face. Through the wall, she heard neighbors whispering, probably recording everything. More ammunition for Terrence's arsenal. Her phone buzzed, another court notice. More motions filed, more evidence submitted, more demands she couldn't afford to fight. Her lawyer had already withdrawn, citing unpaid fees and irreconcilable differences. She dialed her parents' number. Straight to voicemail, like always. Terrence received updates throughout the day. Louise's meltdown, Beverly's isolation, Herman's attempted warning. Each development followed his predicted pattern. They're breaking, Marissa confirmed. Louise's gambling debts are mounting. Beverly's facing eviction. Your parents' audit revealed major discrepancies. Maintain surveillance, Terrence instructed. Record everything. Joy brought dinner again, watching him review footage. The children asked about Beverly today. Michael heard kids at school talking. What did you tell them? That growing up means learning people aren't always what they seem. Joy touched his arm. They need their father's wisdom, not his wrath. Terrence's expression softened slightly. They'll understand someday. This isn't about punishment. It's about justice. Is there a difference anymore? Before he could answer, Marissa called. Luis is at the red door again. He's drunk, making threats. Monitor him, Terrence ordered. If he approaches the house, already alerted security. Beverly's following him, trying to calm him down. Perfect. Let them self-destruct together. Chapter 6. The Breaking Point. The courthouse buzzed with tension as both parties arrived for the final hearing. Beverly, shadows under her eyes, wore a dress that had once been fashionable. Luis skulked in the back, nursing a hangover and wounded pride. Terrence sat with his legal team, Joy beside him offering silent support. Art Murphy spread documents across their table, each page representing another nail in Beverly's coffin. Judge Martinez entered, reviewing the extensive file before her. Quite a development since our last meeting, she noted. Mr. Murphy, proceed. Art rose smoothly. Your Honor, we've documented a systematic pattern of abandonment, emotional manipulation, and reckless behavior by Mrs. Phillips. The evidence mounted: surveillance footage, financial records, witness statements. Beverly's late-night break-in attempt played on screens, followed by Louis's drunken confrontations. Furthermore, Art continued, Mrs. Phillips conspired with Mr. Craig to defraud investors, including her own in-laws. Their relationship began while she was still living in the marital home. Beverly's lawyer, a public defender assigned last minute, offered weak objections. Each one died under the weight of Terrence's evidence. Your Honor, Beverly interrupted desperately, he's twisted everything. Luis and I. Mrs. Phillips, Judge Martinez warned, speak through your counsel. But he's destroying us. The cameras, the investigations, turning everyone against me. The cameras, Art interjected, which recorded your intoxicated attempts to enter Mr. Phillips' home? The investigations revealing financial misconduct? The truth about your affair? Luis shifted uncomfortably in his seat as Art produced more documents. We've also obtained records of Mr. Craig's history with other vulnerable women. A pattern of seduction, financial exploitation, and abandonment. Objection. Beverly's lawyer stammered. Mr. Craig isn't a party to this case. His relationship with Mrs. Phillips directly impacts her judgment and fitness as a parent, Art countered. Their ongoing association poses a danger to the children's welfare. The judge reviewed the evidence carefully. Hours passed as testimony continued. Teachers describing Beverly's absences, neighbors recounting her erratic behavior, financial experts detailing monetary misconduct. Finally, Luis cracked. He stood suddenly, pointing at Terrence. This is all his fault. He's systematically destroyed everything. Mr. Craig, Judge Martinez commanded, sit down or be removed. No, you don't understand what he's capable of. Beverly, tell them. Beverly remained silent, tears streaming down her face. Her lawyer whispered urgently, trying to maintain some semblance of dignity. If there's nothing else, the judge began. Wait, Beverly pleaded. My children. Please, they need their mother. They need stability, Art corrected. They need protection from your chaos. Judge Martinez raised her hand for silence. I've reviewed all evidence thoroughly. Mrs. Phillips has demonstrated a pattern of prioritizing her relationship with Mr. Craig over her children's welfare. Her recent behavior suggests emotional instability and poor judgment. She turned to Terrence. Mr. Phillips has provided a stable environment despite difficult circumstances. The children are thriving in his care, supported by an appropriate network of family and friends. Beverly sobbed as the judge continued. Therefore, I grant full custody to Mr. Phillips. Mrs. Phillips' visitation rights will remain suspended pending completion of counseling and substance abuse evaluation. The rest was lost in Beverly's wails. Louise stormed out, slamming the courtroom door. Terrence remained motionless, his expression unchanging as justice finally arrived. Outside, reporters gathered. Beverly pushed through them, mascara streaking her cheeks. Louise had already disappeared, his phone once again going straight to voicemail. Terrence led his team out a private exit, Joy's hand steady on his arm. His parents waited by the elevator, but he walked past without acknowledgement. Son, Herman called. Please. Terrence kept walking. Their punishment wasn't finished yet. Later that night, surveillance cameras caught Beverly attempting one final visit. She stood outside the house, staring at windows where her children slept. I'm their mother, she whispered to empty air. You can't erase that, Terrence. You can't. But he had. Not through lies or manipulation, but by revealing her true nature to everyone, including their children. Joy found Terrence in his office, reviewing the footage. It's done, she said softly. You've won. Not yet. Terrence closed his laptop. Louise still has resources hidden. My parents haven't faced full consequences. Beverly will always be their mother. No. Terrence's voice hardened. She lost that right when she chose Louise. Everything since has just been confirmation. Outside, Beverly's car started, then faded into the distance. Inside, his children slept peacefully, protected from her chaos. Joy watched him carefully, understanding but concerned. The pieces were in place for the final phase of his plan. Beverly's spirit broken, Louise's empire crumbling, his parents facing financial ruin. But Terrence felt no triumph, only cold satisfaction that justice had been served. His phone buzzed. Marissa warning that Louise had been spotted near the red door again, drunk and angry. Perfect. Let him self-destruct completely. Beverly would follow, drawn by desperate need and dwindling options. Terrence had built his success on careful planning and attention to detail. Now those same skills had delivered his revenge. No, his justice. Beverly, Louise, his parents, all architects of their own destruction. He had merely ensured they couldn't escape the consequences. The night deepened as Terrence finalized his preparations. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but tonight he had one. His children were safe, his enemies defeated, his position secure. Joy touched his shoulder gently. Come to bed. The war's over. No, Terrence replied softly. This was just one battle. They need to lose everything, just like they intended for me. She studied him in the darkness, wondering if victory would bring peace or simply fuel his need for absolute justice. But that was tomorrow's concern. Tonight, Terrence Phillips had demonstrated exactly what happened to those who betrayed him, and his lesson wasn't finished yet. Chapter 7. Rebuilding Lives. Terrence sat across from Dr. Sarah Chon, his expression neutral as she reviewed his file. The therapy sessions hadn't been his idea. Joy had suggested them, pointing out that strength meant confronting internal battles too. You've achieved everything you set out to do, Dr. Chin noted. Beverly lost custody. Louise faces criminal charges. Your parents are financially ruined. Yet you're still here. Joy thinks I need to process my anger. And what do you think? Terrence's lips curved slightly. I think anger kept me focused, kept me strong when they tried to destroy me. There's a difference between strength and ruthlessness. Dr. Chan set down her notepad. Your children need both versions of you. The protector and the father. They have both. Do they? Emma mentioned feeling scared to disappoint you. Michael asks Joy if you'll send them away like Beverly. That hit home. Terrence leaned forward. I would never. They don't know that. They watched you systematically dismantle their mother's life. Children internalize such things. Wonder if they'll face similar consequences for smaller betrayals. The session ended with Terrence deep in thought. Outside, Joy waited in her car, her presence a constant source of stability these past months. The children want to try that new pizza place, she mentioned as they drove. Michael says their science project won first prize. Terrence nodded, Dr. Chin's words echoing in his mind. Let's celebrate. They deserve it. At home, Emma and Michael rushed to greet them, their excitement palpable. The science project, a working model of renewable energy systems, sat proudly on the dining room table. "Dad, look." Michael pointed to the tiny wind turbines. Ms. Rodriguez said it was the best in class. "We used recycled materials," Emma added. "Joy helped us design it." Terrence examined their work, genuine pride replacing his usual calculated expression. "This is impressive. Both of you did an amazing job." Joy watched the interaction, noting the subtle shifts in his demeanor. The ruthless strategist softened around his children, showing glimpses of the man he'd been before Beverly's betrayal. Their celebration was interrupted by a call from Marissa. "Beverly's been spotted near her old design office. She looks unstable. Monitor her movements," Terrence instructed. "Alert security if she approaches the house." Joy touched his arm. "The children are waiting." He hesitated, then put the phone away. "You're right. Beverly can wait." Across town, Beverly stood outside her former office, now occupied by a boutique clothing store. Her designer clothes had been replaced by discount store items, her perfectly manicured nails chipped and broken. "Ma'am," a security guard approached. "You can't loiter here." Beverly laughed bitterly. "I used to own this place. Had clients lined up for months. Please move along before I call the police." She walked away, memories haunting each step. Her phone contained dozens of unanswered messages to Luis, who disappeared after the court hearing. Even her sister had blocked her number after Beverly tried borrowing money again. At a cheap diner, she nursed cold coffee while reading about her children online. Emma's science fair victory made local news, the photo showing her beaming beside Michael and Joy. "Joydale," Beverly muttered, scrolling through the woman's social media. "Playing mother to my children." A notification popped up, another rejected job application. Her reputation had spread through professional circles, making employment impossible. Terrence's systematic destruction left no stone unturned. Meanwhile, Herman and Ethel faced their own struggles. The audit had revealed significant financial irregularities, triggering investigations into their accounts. Their retirement savings vanished into legal fees and penalties. "We should have listened," Ethel whispered, sorting through past due notices. "Should have stood by our son." Herman didn't respond. The stress had aged him dramatically, his country club membership replaced by visits to discount grocery stores. Their friends avoided them, whispers following their rare public appearances. Terrence observed their downfall from afar, receiving regular updates from his network of informants. Their attempts at contact went unanswered, each plea for forgiveness met with silence. Joy found him reviewing surveillance footage one evening. "They're still your parents. Biology doesn't excuse betrayal." Terrence closed his laptop. "They chose Beverly over their own son, their grandchildren, and you chose revenge over reconciliation." "Justice," he corrected. They needed to understand the cost of their choices. The next day brought news of Luis's disappearance. His apartment stood empty, his remaining assets liquidated overnight. A note left for Beverly simply read, "You're not worth the trouble." Beverly's reaction played out on security cameras as she discovered the abandonment. Her screams echoed through the empty apartment, followed by the sound of breaking glass. Police responded to neighbors' calls, finding her amidst shattered photos and empty wine bottles. No charges filed, but the incident report added another page to Terrence's documentation. "She's spiraling," Marissa reported. "Drinking heavily, making scenes in public. Lost her temporary job at the mall for confronting customers who used to be clients." Terrence absorbed the information without visible reaction. "Continue monitoring. Alert me if she approaches the children." At home, he found Joy helping Emma with homework while Michael practiced piano. The domestic scene struck him differently after his therapy session, highlighting what truly mattered. "Dad," Emma looked up. "Can we visit Grandma and Grandpa? Michael misses them." Terrence stilled. "They made their choice, Princess. People can change." Joy interjected softly. "Your children need family, not just justice." He studied his daughter's hopeful expression, weighing years of anger against the cost of maintaining it. "I'll think about it." That night, Beverly made another attempt to see the children. Security footage showed her arguing with guards at the property line, waving court papers and screaming about maternal rights. Please, she begged the cameras she knew watched her. They're my babies. I've changed. I'll do anything. Terrence observed through multiple angles, noting signs of her deterioration. Designer purse replaced by knockoff, luxury car downgraded to basic transportation, careful makeup now hastily applied. Joy joined him in the security room. She's still their mother. She lost that right. Rights can be earned back. Joy met his gaze. Your strength protected them. Maybe now it's time to show them Mercy's strength too. Terrence considered this as Beverly's car finally drove away. His revenge, no, his justice, had been complete. His enemies lay in ruins, their lives systematically dismantled according to his precise plans. Yet watching his children thrive under Joy's nurturing influence made him question the cost of maintaining such rigid barriers. Not out of weakness, but from a position of absolute strength. The next morning, he contacted Dr. Chun to schedule another session. Not because he regretted his actions, but because his children deserved a father who could balance justice with wisdom. Beverly's destruction had been necessary. Louis's downfall remained satisfying. His parents' punishment felt justified. But his children needed more than a ruthless protector. They needed a father who could show them both strength and compassion. Joy understood this balance, her own experience with betrayal teaching her the difference between justice and vengeance. Her presence helped stabilize the family, providing warmth without compromising Terrence's authority. As Act 3 continued, Terrence maintained his vigilance while allowing small changes. The war had been won decisively, but the peace required different strategies, all while keeping his enemies aware that his strength remained absolute. Chapter 8. Unexpected Twists. Beverly's sudden appearance at the house came without warning. Security cameras caught her approach. Sober, properly dressed, clutching what appeared to be a letter. I want to apologize, she announced to the cameras. Please, Terrence. 5 minutes. Inside his office, Terrence watched multiple angles of her vigil. Joy stood nearby, concern evident in her expression. She seems different, Joy observed. She seems desperate. Terrence checked his phone as Marissa's report arrived. Lost another job. Eviction notice posted yesterday. The children ask about her. They ask about the mother she pretended to be. Terrence's voice hardened. Not what she became. Beverly remained at the gate for hours, eventually leaving her letter with security. Terrence read it later, analyzing each word for manipulation attempts. I understand now, Beverly wrote. The pain I caused, the trust one broke. I don't expect forgiveness, but please, let me prove I can change. The children deserve to know their mother regrets her choices. Convenient timing, Terrence noted to Joy. She's out of money, options, and Louis's protection. People can change. People reveal their true nature under pressure. Beverly showed hers. The next day brought surprising news. Louis had resurfaced briefly, attempting to contact Beverly through mutual acquaintances. His message suggested reconciliation, hinting at fresh opportunities. Marissa's investigation revealed the truth. He's desperate, she reported. Gambling debts mounting, former victims filing new charges. He needs Beverly's connection to her family's money. Forward everything to the authorities, Terrence instructed. Let him dig his own grave. Beverly, however, didn't respond to Louis's overtures. Security footage showed her ignoring his calls, deleting his messages. Instead, she focused on establishing a routine, attending counseling, maintaining sobriety, seeking steady employment. Trina confirmed these changes reluctantly. She's been volunteering at the community center, she admitted, working with children's programs. The directors say she's reliable, dedicated. Monitor her interactions, Terrence ordered. Any sign of instability? That's just it. Trina hesitated. She seems genuinely different. Humbled. When parents recognize her, she apologizes for her past behavior and leaves quietly. Joy found Terrence processing this information in his office. The children's therapist thinks supervised visits might help them heal. Beverly lost that right. Rights can be restored. Joy sat across from him. Your strength protected them. Now they need to see its wisdom. Before Terrence could respond, his phone buzzed. Luis had been spotted meeting with Herman and Ethel, likely seeking financial support again. Security footage from the meeting proved enlightening. His parents rejected Luis firmly, Herman standing to his full height despite age, stooping his shoulders. "You destroyed our family," Herman declared. "Used our love for Beverly to manipulate us. Never again." Luis's desperation showed as he grabbed Herman's arm. "You owe me. Those investment documents mean nothing." Ethel's voice carried unexpected steel. "Terrence has everything documented. Try blackmailing us, and you'll face more charges." The encounter ended with Luis storming out, leaving Herman and Ethel shaken but resolute. They'd finally chosen family over Beverly's manipulation. Terrence watched the footage multiple times, noting their changed demeanor. Wealth and social status stripped away, replaced by hard-earned wisdom. Joy found him still reviewing the scene later. They stood against Luis. "Protected your children's interests. One good choice doesn't erase their betrayal." "No," Joy agreed, "but it might begin their redemption." The week brought more developments. Beverly's counselor contacted Terrence through proper channels, documenting her progress and requesting supervised visitation review. "She's completed all requirements," are confirmed. "Maintained sobriety, attended therapy, secured stable employment. Legally, we should consider." "The law requires bare minimums," Terrence interrupted. "My children deserve better." "Your children deserve closure," Joy countered. "Beverly hurt them by leaving. Don't hurt them by forcing permanent separation." Meanwhile, Luis's desperation reached new heights. He attempted confronting Beverly outside her workplace, demanding she access her family's remaining assets. Security cameras captured her response. "Leave me alone, Luis. My children matter more than your schemes." When he grabbed her arm, she broke free and ran. No police report filed, but the incident strengthened her commitment to change. Terrence observed these developments. Beverly's transformation appeared genuine, but he'd learned the cost of trust. His children provided unexpected perspective during dinner. "Dad," Emma spoke carefully. "We saw Mom at the community center. She was teaching art to little kids." Terrence stilled. "When?" "During school field trip," Michael explained. "She looked sad when she saw us, but she just smiled and went to another room." "She respected boundaries," Joy noted quietly. "She's still dangerous," Terrence countered. "No," Emma said suddenly. "She's just Mom. Different now, but still Mom." The observation, delivered with childhood simplicity, struck deeper than therapy sessions. His daughter saw what his anger obscured. People could change when stripped of pretense and pride. That night, Beverly left another letter. Unlike previous attempts, this one addressed the children directly. "I won't ask forgiveness," she wrote. "My choices hurt you deeply. But please know I think of you always, pray for your happiness, and hope someday you'll let me prove I've changed. Until then, I'll work to become someone worthy of being your mother again." Terrence read the letter multiple times, analyzing its sincerity. Joy watched him struggle between protection and possibility. "She can't hurt them anymore," Joy reminded him. "You made sure of that. Now they need to see you're strong enough to allow healing. Healing requires trust." "No," Joy corrected. "Healing requires courage. You showed courage destroying their betrayal. Show courage allowing redemption." The decision wouldn't come easily. Terrence had built his success on absolute control, on ensuring consequences matched crimes perfectly. But watching his children process their mother's absence, seeing their resilience and wisdom, made him consider new strategies. Not out of weakness, but from position of complete victory. Beverly had lost everything, learned humility through desperation. His parents faced their failures, chose family over pride. Even Luis's downfall proved the inevitability of justice. Now came the harder task, showing his children that true strength included wisdom, that protection meant more than punishment, that even the most ruthless defender could choose mercy, not from weakness, but from absolute power. Chapter 9. A Brighter Future. The community center buzzed with activity as Beverly led her art class. Children's laughter mixed with the sound of brushes on paper, creating a symphony of innocent creativity. Through security cameras, Terrence observed her interaction with the young students. Her designer clothes and superior attitude had vanished, replaced by simple attire and genuine warmth. She's good with him, Joy noted, watching beside him. The center director says she never misses a session, stays late helping clean up. People can fake anything. For a few days, yes. She's maintained this for months. Before Terrence could respond, Emma knocked on his office door. Dad, can we talk? She settled into the chair across from him, fidgeting slightly. I've been thinking about Mom. Terrence's expression remained neutral. Go on. She's different now. Not fake different like when she was with Luis. Real different. Emma met his gaze. Maybe we could see her? Just talk? The request hung between them. Joy squeezed Terrence's shoulder gently, offering silent support. She hurt us deeply, Terrence reminded his daughter. I know. Emma's voice strengthened. But you taught us about consequences. Maybe she's learned hers. The wisdom in his daughter's words struck deep. He'd succeeded in protecting them, but perhaps too well, teaching them to fear connection as much as betrayal. Meanwhile, Beverly continued her quiet transformation. The security team reported her daily routine, counseling sessions, work at the community center, volunteer work with children's programs. No contact with Luis, no attempts at manipulation. Her latest letter arrived through proper channels, reviewed by both Art and the children's therapist. I understand now, she wrote. Not just what I lost, but why I lost it. My choices destroyed our family. The children deserve better than the mother I was. I'm working to become the mother they deserve, not to erase the past, but to build a better future. Terrence studied the letter as Joy prepared dinner nearby. She's maintained boundaries, he acknowledged, because she finally understands them. Joy stirred sauce carefully. Real change comes from acceptance, not desperation. The next day brought unexpected news. Luis had been arrested attempting to flee the country. His final schemes collapsed, leaving him facing multiple federal charges. Beverly's response proved telling. When reporters sought comment, she simply stated, "That part of my life ended months ago. My only focus now is becoming someone my children can respect." Terrence watched the interview footage, noting her changed demeanor. No designer clothes, no practiced charm, just simple honesty. Joy reviewed the footage with him. She's not pretending anymore. Pretense requires energy, Terrence noted. She has none left to spare. That evening, Herman and Ethel made another attempt at contact, this time through Emma's therapist. Their message carried no excuses, no demands, just acknowledgement of their failures and hope for eventual reconciliation. The children miss their grandparents, Joy mentioned as they prepared for bed. Herman and Ethel chose poorly, but they faced their consequences. Like Beverly? Like everyone you've brought to justice. Joy met his gaze. The question is, what comes after justice? The answer came unexpectedly through Michael. During breakfast, he showed Terrence a family drawing from school. See, Dad? That's you and Joy and Emma and me. He pointed to additional figures. And that's Mom teaching Art and Grandma and Grandpa at their house. Terrence studied the drawing, seeing his son's hope for reconnection. You've thought about this. Emma says you're teaching us about strength. Michael looked up earnestly. Isn't forgiveness strong too? The question echoed through Terrence's mind during his next therapy session with Dr. Chen. Your son shows remarkable insight, she noted. Children often understand emotional truth more clearly than adults. Understanding isn't the same as trusting. No, Dr. Chen agreed. But perhaps trust can be rebuilt. With proper boundaries and expectations, the decision crystallized gradually. Terrence arranged a supervised visit at the Children's Therapy Center, ensuring multiple safeguards. Beverly arrived early, dressed simply, waiting patiently in the designated room. No demands, no dramatic gestures, just quiet gratitude for the opportunity. Emma entered first, Michael close behind. Their reunion carried none of Beverly's previous theatrics, just careful conversation and tentative hope. You've changed, Emma observed. I had to, Beverly replied softly. Losing you showed me who I really was. Who I needed to become. The session ended exactly on schedule, Beverly making no attempts to extend or dramatize the moment. She simply thanked the therapist and left, respecting all boundaries. Terrence watched through security feeds, noting every detail. Joy stood beside him, offering silent support. She maintained protocols, he acknowledged. Because she values the opportunity more than her pride. Joy squeezed his hand. Like your parents at the community center fundraiser. Herman and Ethel had volunteered quietly, seeking no recognition or advantage. They worked alongside Beverly, all three focused on contributing rather than competing. The next family dinner brought another shift. Emma asked permission to invite Beverly to her school play. She's been helping with sets at the community center, Emma explained. Maybe she could help here too? Terrence considered his daughter's request carefully. Under supervision, he decided. With clear boundaries, the play preparations became a test ground for new dynamics. Beverly worked alongside Joy, each respecting the other's role. No competition, no manipulation, just shared focus on the children's success. Opening night arrived with careful arrangements. Beverly sat with other parents, not attempting to claim special status. She applauded proudly but maintained distance, understanding her position remained provisional. Afterward, Emma's smile encompassed everyone. Terrence and Joy, Beverly, even Herman and Ethel watching from their assigned seats. That's what family means, Joy observed later. Not perfection, but persistence in becoming better. The changes continued gradually. Supervised visits became regular, each successful interaction building trust cautiously. Beverly maintained boundaries, never pushing for more than offered. Herman and Ethel proved their change similarly, accepting limited contact with gratitude rather than entitlement. They joined family events when invited, respecting Terrence's authority without question. Through it all, Terrence maintained vigilant strength. His network monitored everything, ensuring no backsliding or manipulation. But watching his children navigate reconciliation taught him new forms of power. You've won completely, Joy noted one evening. They understand your strength now respects their growth. The final test came during Emma's birthday celebration. Beverly attended within approved boundaries, bringing a thoughtful gift and respecting all protocols. During the party, Emma hugged everyone. Terrence and Joy, her grandparents, and finally Beverly. Thank you, Emma whispered, for becoming better. Beverly's tears held no manipulation, no drama. Just genuine gratitude for the chance to witness her daughter's happiness. Terrence observed it all, his power absolute but tempered now with wisdom. He had protected his children through ruthless strength. Now he protected their healing through calculated mercy. The lesson emerged clearly. True power lay not just in destroying enemies, but in controlling the terms of their redemption. His family learned that actions had consequences, but also that consequences could lead to transformation. As Act 3 concluded, Terrence Phillips remained undefeated. His enemies turned supplicants lived by his rules, their rehabilitation proceeding exactly as he designed. Not from weakness, but from the ultimate position of strength. The power to grant mercy without surrendering control. Epilogue. 10 years later. A sleek Mercedes pulled up to Northern State Penitentiary's gates. Luis Craig, now graying at the temples, clutched his release papers as he walked toward freedom. A decade of incarceration had stripped away his polished facade, leaving only bitter resignation. His phone contained just one message from his parole officer. Report to the halfway house by 6 p.m. No Beverly waiting with promises of reconciliation. No business partners offering fresh starts. His empire had crumbled completely, his charm worthless in a world that remembered his crimes. Across town, Terrence Phillips reviewed construction plans in his expanded office. Phillips Construction had grown into one of the state's largest developers, known for ethical practices and community investment. Success built on strength, maintained through unwavering principles. Joy's voice came through the intercom. Emma's graduation ceremony starts in 2 hours. Michael's already at the university to save seats. Terrence smiled, pride replacing his usual stern expression. Emma would graduate top of her class from medical school, following her brother's path into healthcare. Michael had finished his residency last year, now practicing pediatrics at the city's best hospital. Beverly confirmed she'll stay in the designated section. Old habits died hard. Yes, and she's bringing her special needs art students to watch. Joy's voice held understanding. She's maintained boundaries for 10 years, Terrence. Indeed, Beverly had transformed completely. After years of supervised visits and strict protocols, she'd found her calling teaching art to disabled children. Her life centered on service now, her former materialism replaced by genuine purpose. She lived modestly in a small apartment near the community center, her designer wardrobe exchanged for practical clothing. Weekly visits with her children followed careful guidelines, each interaction earning continued trust. The graduation ceremony highlighted these changes. Beverly sat quietly with her students, pride in her children evident but controlled. No dramatic gestures, no attempts to claim unearned credit, just grateful presence in their lives. Herman and Ethel attended too, aged but dignified in their reduced circumstances. They downsized to a small condo years ago, their retirement reshaped by consequences of past choices. Yet time and consistent behavior had earned them limited redemption. They saw their grandchildren regularly now, always respecting Terrence's authority. Their relationship survived on his terms, strengthened by understanding of power's true nature. During the ceremony, Emma's valedictorian speech touched on transformation. Life teaches us about strength, she declared confidently. Not just in achieving goals, but in recognizing when people truly change. My father taught me that power isn't just about control, it's about wisdom in using that control. The audience applauded, unaware of deeper meanings. But Beverly wiped tears quietly, understanding the journey from destruction to careful rehabilitation. Later, at the celebration dinner, carefully planned seating maintained established hierarchies. Terrence and Joy hosted from the head table, their marriage a testament to partnership built on mutual respect. Beverly sat with her art students, included but not central. She learned contentment in this prescribed role, understanding that limited access beat complete exclusion. Your daughter's speech was brilliant, one student's mother commented. You must be proud. I'm grateful to witness her success, Beverly replied carefully. Her father and Joy raised her wonderfully. This acknowledgement, delivered without resentment, exemplified her adaptation. Beverly had learned to find fulfillment within constraints, her creativity channeled into helping others rather than social climbing. Terrence observed everything from his position of power. His children had grown into successful adults, their emotional stability proof of his protective strategies. Joy's influence helped balance justice with compassion, though he never relaxed vigilance completely. Michael's medical practice thrived, his gentle manner with patience balancing his father's stern strength. He'd recently started dating Sarah, a pediatric nurse who understood family loyalty's importance. Dad, Michael approached during dinner. Sarah and I want your blessing before getting engaged. Terrence studied his son thoughtfully. You've chosen well. She values family properly. The approval came from careful observation. Sarah had proven herself worthy through consistent behavior and respect for established boundaries. Unlike Beverly's betrayal, this relationship would strengthen family bonds. Emma's medical career focused on trauma surgery, her father's protective instincts channeled into saving lives. Her upcoming fellowship at Johns Hopkins reflected ambition tempered by ethical principles. Your children are incredible, Herman commented carefully, maintaining appropriate distance. We're fortunate to know them. Fortune had nothing to do with it, Terrence replied. They succeeded because they learned proper values. This exchange demonstrated reform dynamics. Herman and Ethel had accepted their reduced status, grateful for controlled access to family life. Their retirement remained modest, extravagant habits replaced by careful budgeting. Joy's steady presence had proven essential over the years. Her understanding of betrayal's impact helped guide the family's controlled healing. She balanced Terrence's strength with strategic compassion, never undermining his authority. Remember when we first met? She asked that night. You were focused purely on justice. Justice remains paramount. Terrence's voice held certainty. But wielding power requires precision. Their marriage demonstrated this balance. Joy's influence tempered his reactions without weakening his resolve. Together they'd built an impenetrable family unit, strengthened by clear boundaries and consistent consequences. Beverly's transformation provided ongoing proof of his method's effectiveness. Her art therapy program helped disabled children find expression, her nurturing instincts properly channeled. She lived simply, saving money to support community projects rather than personal luxuries. Weekly reports still tracked her activities, though patterns showed no deviation. She learned to find contentment within restrictions, understanding that limited access depended on continued compliance. Louise's release from prison triggered no changes in protocol. Beverly maintained complete separation from her former affair partner, her reformation genuine rather than tactical. Trina, still managing neighborhood watch, confirmed Beverly's consistency. She volunteers extra hours during school breaks, she reported. The center says she's their most dedicated teacher. This information, like all intelligence, filtered through Terrence's network. Success required constant vigilance, power maintained through comprehensive awareness. The graduation celebration ended precisely on schedule. Beverly departed with her students, accepting prescribed limits. Herman and Ethel followed established protocols, their behavior reflecting years of conditioning. Later that week, Emma visited her mother's art class. Their relationship had evolved within careful boundaries, affection tempered by understanding of past betrayals. Your students adore you, Emma observed, watching Beverly guide small hands through painting techniques. Teaching them brings real joy. Beverly's smile held no artifice. Something I learned too late with you and Michael. But you learned, Emma noted. Dad says that's what matters. This exchange illustrated successful rehabilitation. Beverly had accepted her reduced role, finding purpose in service rather than status. Her children acknowledged positive changes while maintaining emotional safeguards. Michael's medical practice embodied similar principles. His pediatric patients received excellent care, but parents underwent careful screening. Those displaying unstable relationships or questionable ethics found subtle barriers to access. You're quite selective, Sarah commented, reviewing admission protocols. Dad taught me to recognize warning signs, Michael explained. Protecting children requires constant vigilance. Their upcoming marriage would follow similar guidelines. Prenuptial agreements, supervised assets, clear expectations, romance tempered by pragmatic safeguards. Terrence approved these precautions. His son had learned from family history, ensuring future generations maintained proper boundaries. Joy's influence appeared in softer elements. Holiday celebrations, family traditions, moments of controlled warmth. She'd helped create space for positive emotions without compromising essential vigilance. Balance keeps families strong, she reminded Terrence. Your children understand consequences, but also redemption's possibility. This wisdom shaped their legacy. Emma and Michael carried their father's strength, but tempered it with strategic compassion. They recognized manipulation instantly, but remained open to genuine change. Beverly's art students provided living proof. These children, facing various challenges, blossomed under her reformed, nurturing instincts. Her weekly reports showed consistent dedication, priorities properly realigned. She's different with them, Emma noted during another class visit. No hidden agendas, no social climbing, just honest care. Indeed, Beverly had found authentic purpose within prescribed limits. Her apartment, though small, displayed students' artwork rather than designer labels. Bank statements showed donations to children's charities instead of luxury purchases. Herman and Ethel similarly demonstrated successful reformation. They attended family events when invited, maintained appropriate distance, and showed proper gratitude for limited inclusion. Their reduced circumstances reflected lasting consequences. The country club membership lapsed, luxury cars replaced by modest transportation, retirement reshaped by past choices' impact. We learned expensive lessons, Herman admitted during a supervised visit. But gaining wisdom matters more than losing wealth. This acknowledgement showed successful behavioral modification. They'd accepted their role as cautionary examples, their story warning others about betrayal's cost. The family's transformation drew academic interest. Psychology journals requested interviews, citing their case as evidence of controlled rehabilitation's effectiveness. Terrence declined most queries, but Emma's medical journals published carefully screened studies. These papers documented power's role in reshaping dysfunctional dynamics. Your father's methods seem harsh, a colleague commented after reading Emma's research. His methods protected us, Emma replied firmly. Strength requires absolutes. This conviction, shared by both children, proved his strategy's success. They understood protection's price, recognized manipulation's dangers, and maintained proper boundaries in their own lives. Michael's medical practice reflected these principles. His staff underwent rigorous screening, patient families faced careful evaluation, and office protocols emphasized clear boundaries. "You run a tight ship," Sarah observed admiringly. "Structure protects everyone," Michael explained. "Dad taught me that." Their engagement party demonstrated these lessons' generational impact. Carefully planned seating maintained hierarchies, invitation lists underwent thorough screening, and security remained vigilant. Beverly attended within prescribed limits, her reformed behavior earning controlled participation. She brought no gift. Past experience proved material offerings carried manipulation risks, but contributed approved art activities for younger guests. Herman and Ethel similarly maintained proper distance. They learned expensive lessons about overstepping boundaries, their reduced circumstances reminding others of betrayal's cost. Joy's steady influence appeared in celebratory elements, approved decorations, scheduled timing, permitted interactions. She'd mastered balancing warmth with vigilance, enhancing family bonds while maintaining essential barriers. As midnight approached, Terrence surveyed his legacy. Emma's medical career soared. Michael prepared for marriage, and Joy's partnership proved invaluable. Even reformed betrayers served useful purposes, their stories warning others about power's absolute nature. Beverly's art students represented positive change properly channeled. Her nurturing instincts, once twisted by social climbing, now serve community needs. Weekly reports showed consistent dedication to this controlled purpose. Luis's prison release changed nothing. Beverly maintained complete separation, her reformation genuine rather than tactical. She learned to find contentment within restrictions, understanding that limited access required continued compliance. The family's success proved Terrence's methods effective. Power wielded precisely shaped lasting transformation. Justice tempered by strategic mercy created sustainable order. His children carried this legacy forward, understanding strength's true nature. They recognized manipulation instantly but remained open to genuine change, maintaining boundaries while permitting earned redemption. The future stretched secure before them, protected by unwavering principles and constant vigilance. Power, properly applied, had reshaped reality according to Terrence's design. In the end, justice prevailed absolutely, not through mere punishment, but through controlled rehabilitation under proper authority. Those who accepted this truth gained limited peace. Those who resisted faced lasting consequences. Terrence Phillips had built his empire on this foundation. His family thrived through proper values, his influence expanded through proven principles, and his legacy continued through carefully taught wisdom. The final lesson stood clear. True power lay not just in destroying enemies, but in reshaping them to serve proper purposes. Justice, tempered by strategic mercy, created lasting order. This truth would guide future generations, ensuring family strength survived through unwavering vigilance and calculated compassion. The price of betrayal remained absolute, but the rewards of genuine reformation offered limited redemption. Power, properly wielded, had transformed tragedy into triumph. The story's end proved its beginning's wisdom. Actions have consequences, but consequences, properly controlled, can reshape reality itself. This is where our story comes to an end. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for your time. If you enjoy this story, please subscribe to this channel. Click on the video you see on the screen, and I will see you there.